What's up, edge traders? This is Adam Winnick here with another video on why you might suck at trading Forex. And hopefully this could be the big aha that changes everything for you. We're going to be talking about why trading the correct currencies at the correct time makes all the difference in the world. And you may have been doing everything correctly. You may have been using proper risk management. You may have been using a sound strategy, but you may have been trading the wrong currencies at the wrong time. And once you understand this, it's going to change the game for you. I promise you that. To make your trading easy, lucrative, and fun, go ahead and click the subscribe button as well as turn on the post notifications so you don't miss any important information to help make your trading easy, lucrative, and fun. Okay, with that being said, we're going to be talking about something really important, which is not trading the wrong currencies at the wrong time, and better said, trading the right currencies at the right time. This can make all the difference in the world for you. This was a huge aha moment that I had when I first discovered this, and it makes total logical sense, and I'm going to show it to you on a chart. So here we're going to go, and we're going to talk about trading the right pairs at the right times. Now, as you know, there's something in Forex called Forex sessions, right? Where the market moves based on, where it is in the world, right? The Forex market is open 24 hours a day, 5 days a week, as you know. And there's these different session times, which you've probably heard of, right? There's the London session, which again, this is an Eastern time zone. So from 3 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern, okay? There's the London session. This is when all of the European currency pairs are really going to be moving. And then at 8 a.m. until 5 p.m., this is really when the US, the Canadian, even the Mexican peso, if you want to get exotic, this is when these pairs are going to be moving because this is business hours for this part of the world for the US. And then what do you have? You have the Asian session, which really starts at 6 p.m. Eastern or 7 p.m. Eastern, really for the Asian session. And it continues on until like 2 to 3 o'clock in the morning. There's mainly, don't get too confused with the Sydney versus the Tokyo session. There's really three main sessions, right? There's the London, which is think of Europe. There's the New York, think of American Canada. And then there is the Asian session, which you can think of Asian, New Zealand, and Australian all in the same time zone, right? So there's these different time zones. Which pairs are best to trade during each session? Well, obviously the pairs that have volume. Now, what does that mean? That means that there's large candlesticks being displayed on your MetaTrader 4 platform that you're trading on. And the bigger the candles, the more volume that's actually happening there. And it just makes sense. Of course, during the session open, if you've ever traded the stock market, for example, you'll notice that the majority of the stock market moves happen within the first 2 hours. Really, the first hour that the market opens, you'll have crazy volatility. And then the rest of the day, it's really kind of quiet until the close. So you basically want to trade, right kind of at the session open. That's when there's the most volatility. That's when you can capture the biggest moves that are happening, right? So you can see here depicted, we're going to go through this again in depth, but you can see here when the market was open during the session, there was a lot of volume. You can tell simply by looking at the candlesticks. There's really big candlesticks that are going on right here. That's indicating that there's volume, and that's when you want to be trading. Then you see that the market starts to consolidate. This is likely when the pair is not active during the session. It just consolidates, and there's not really any big moves happening here. So you don't want to trade this because you're just kind of consolidating. There's no volatility really. There's no volume there. So you don't want to trade that, right? In that box there. So how do we know when a pair has volume and how can we trade during this time? Okay. Well, like I mentioned earlier, the best time to trade is at the market open or close, and only trade pairs that have one currency open or one currency awake during the session. Okay, so what does that actually mean? What that actually means is that if you take a look, different currencies are going to have more volume at different times throughout the 24 hours, right? During the Asian session, Japanese yen, the Australian dollar, the New Zealand dollar, gold, all of these pairs are going to be moving during the Asian session, right? During the London session, Great British Pound, Euro, the CHF, all of these European pairs, they're going to be moving during the London session, okay, as well as gold. And then during New York, mostly US dollar and CAD are going to be moving. Again, Mexican peso if you want to get exotic. But also there's that overlap, right? You see this on the chart here. There's this London, New York overlap that happens right here. So also GBP, Euro, and CHF can be good currencies to trade during this overlap as well, because it can be, as you know, this is when the most volatility happens. happens in the market right here, basically from 6 till 9 a.m. Eastern time. This is when the London, New York overlap happens, and that's where a lot of the big moves happen, which you'll see in just a second. And I'll show you how to put this together to become a better trader, more successful trader. Okay, so if you take a look at USD JPY, GBP JPY, and Euro JPY, you'll notice that they all have this second currency as JPY, right? So they're correlated, JPY, JPY, JPY. During the Asian session, you'll notice that they all move similarly, right? Okay, if Euro JPY is bullish, then the chances are GBP JPY and USD JPY are also going to be bullish, okay? Just kind of the way that it works, right? However, if you were to take a look at AUD JPY, then you may see something different than looking at USD JPY, GBP JPY, and Euro JPY. The reason being is because during the Asian session, both the Australian dollar and the Japanese yen are both going to be moving, right? During this time period. So they're going to be counteracting, they're going to be fighting each other, they're going to be struggling against each other. Now, here's the point I want you to get. If you take a look at, say, for example, USD JPY, okay, during the Asian session, like out here, okay, the US is asleep, okay? So this US is not fighting back at all. It's asleep. But the Japanese yen, it's active. So it's going to be pushing the market more likely than not in one direction. GBP JPY, same thing, okay? The London session is not active. So this GBP pair, this Great British Pound, it's asleep where the Japanese yen is awake. So it's going to be pushing and it's going to be able to do what it wants to do with the currency pair because the other pair is asleep, right? Same with Euro JPY, same thing. Euro's asleep and JPY during the Asian session is going to be pushing. Hopefully that makes sense to you. It's a little bit of a complex concept, but once you get it, it can make all the difference in the world, okay? And again, just to compare, the AUD JPY, Australia and Japan, they're both awake. They're both kind of fighting against each other. So you're going to see different price movement than you would see in these other three previous pairs that I was just talking about. So with that being said, let's take a look at this really quickly. And I want to bring this more to life to you. So here on the chart, I'm in TradingView. I've pulled up a few things, okay? So you can see the different session times. So green, this is the London session, okay? And I've changed this to be New York, Eastern time, right? So the green is the London session. The pink is the New York session. And then the blue is the Asian session, okay? So just take a look at this just for example, really quickly. And this kind of brown area, this is the overlap. Remember, this is where there's a lot of volatility, okay, during this overlap. Let's take a look at this really quickly. We're going to just look at euro dollar, for example, and this isn't an exact science, full disclaimer, but you'll notice a pattern. And that's all we're trying to look for is we're trying to look for patterns. But look at this, okay? The European session opens right here at the beginning of this green. And what do you see? You see large candles, big candles throughout this session, big candles throughout, even throughout New York, and then US dollar. Okay, you saw the big volume and then it kind of died off later in the US session, right? So it's not an exact science, but you see during the Asian session, you see how the candles are smaller, kind of consolidating here. Okay, there's not as much volume here, but look at what happens. As soon as the London session opens, boom, we get a big burst of volume, big volume throughout this entire session. There's big volume, right? All the way through New York close because what? Euro, US dollar. Euro, okay, is going to be trading during the London session. US dollar is going to be trading during the New York session, right? And then what happens? Okay, daily changeover. And then the Asian session happens here in blue. And what do you see? The candles get smaller. There's less volume because these two countries aren't awake. They're not business hours. And you see it kind of dying down. What do you see here? Again, we see London open. We see huge volume coming in through London all the way, coming through all the entire session throughout New York. And then what happens during Asian? You see these candles get smaller. They kind of consolidate for a while, right? Until boom, what happens? London opens. You see a big mark of volume. And even while the market was technically consolidating here, there was actually pretty good volume, as you can tell by the size of the candles. And then, take a look. It's Asian session right now. And what's happening? The volatility's died down. The volume has died down, right? So there you go. Okay, so how do you put this together? So you know that if you're trading Euro US dollar, we know we don't want to trade it during the Asian time zone. Okay, so let's just go back. Okay, when is the Asian time zone? We don't want to trade it from 6 p.m. to basically, until 3. We don't want to start trading Euro US dollar until like 3, right? For example. So during the Asian session, we do not want to trade it. We only want to trade it during, like London open or like New York open, basically. Those times are going to be best to trade it, okay? And usually, this is not always, so not always, but usually you'll notice that the market will kind of continue to push in one direction. Especially you see here all throughout the London session and the New York session kind of pushed in one direction, right? Asian, okay, died down again. And then what do you notice? It kind of pushed through in one direction throughout the entire day. It was trading, and then it died, right? So you'll notice these trends starting to happen if you start paying attention to this. It's really quite interesting. Again, look at here. Okay, the market started bullish, but I mean, it kind of pushed down throughout the rest of the day till here. Asian, it got dead. And then, okay, what happened? It kind of pushed down and continued to push down here. Okay, so just some interesting things to think about. You have to think about, okay, Euro US dollar, what's going on? Okay, London session, okay, New York session, this is when the volume's going to be happening, okay? And ideally, you only want to trade a currency where only one of the two currency pairs, right? A pair is made up of two currencies. You only trade when one of the currencies is really awake and the other one's asleep, because then they're not counteracting and fighting each other, okay? So if you thought this video was helpful, we have a ton of other videos on our channel, help make your trading easy, lucrative, and fun, or make your trading elf. So go ahead and click subscribe. Also like this video if you thought it was helpful. Turn on the post notifications so you don't miss any other helpful videos. And I'll also include some other really helpful videos that help make you a better trader right here.